Hello, and welcome to the Florida Caniac Perspective, now on YouTube. I am the Florida Caniac. Just a quick recap on some things. Some upcoming games going to be attending coming soon. My road trip game starts off December 22nd when the Pittsburgh Penguins come to town. And then right after that is the Hartford Whalers night on December 23rd, which is the main reason I will be there. Definitely stop me and say hi if you haven't met me before. And then the very next day, it's back on the road on Christmas Eve to make it home by Christmas. Now, today's episode, because the YouTube thing's still kind of new, we're going to go over two games. We're going to go over the game versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then one that just recently happened back on the 13th versus the Montreal Canadiens. After that, we will go over our 3 stars of the week. Normally, this is a week's worth of games, but because I'm only doing the 2 games, I'm just going to do it based on the 3 stars for those 2 games. And then I'm going to pick our glaring weakness of the week. You could thank you lovely Caniacs out there to kind of bring those types of things up. And then we'll go ahead and recap going into next week's schedule as well. Not really the way I wanted to start this YouTube channel with losses, but here we are. As you can see, Toronto defeated Carolina 4-1. The shots on goal really do not tell the story of this game. The score actually does. Still would like to thank Justin Williams for our lone goal, which happened to be on the power play. At the same time, Peter Mrazek did his spot as well, getting 25 saves. Looking at the overall box score game stats here, Carolina did outshoot Toronto by 1 shot. Did much better on the face-off against Toronto. But here's one thing I want you guys to look at. The power play. Toronto's power play went 0 for 4, which means Carolina's penalty kill was 100%. So there is something to get from this in a positive manner here. However, what did kill them, and which was probably the story of the game here, on Carolina's side at least, is they gave away the puck a lot more than Toronto did, as you can see down there, 21-12. Now, like I said, the numbers, the stats, all that really didn't say the true story of this game. Yeah, there was a lot of times where this team was somewhat competitive on the numbers side. But if you were watching the game like I was, or if you were at the game, you can definitely tell that Toronto was definitely the overpowering team in that game. Not that the shots weren't as quality in that game for Carolina. They were just trying to get it out of the zone about a good 70% of the time. It got ugly pretty quick. There were some times where they held their ground here and there, and the defense looked kind of okay, but there was no consistency as far as two-way hockey goes. Credit to some players holding their own on some of the top players out there, but overall it just really wasn't the type of game that Carolina needed for the rest of the season. They need to be able to compete against these teams like they have been throughout the start of the season, but this game really just looked kind of like a setback. Before I get really too upset with this, let's move forward to Montreal. This is one of the very few games where the opponent of Carolina actually outshoots them. In this case, it actually happened with Montreal. Carolina looked kind of decent to kind of get things going, but they still fell 6-4, and there's a lot of defensive reasons why on this. However, let's put some spotlight on some positives here. 4 goals from Carolina, 2 of them coming from rookie sensation Andrei Svechnikov. Follow that up with Jacob Slavin with another great performance. This time he got himself a pretty good night. He got himself a 2.9 on this one with a goal and an assist on this thing. And let's not leave out Seabass himself, Sebastian Aho, getting himself a tally as well. Well, a beautiful play against good old Carey Price. Unfortunately, a whole lot of nothing happened when it came to the defensive side, but you cannot blame Peter Mrazek, who was in the net again. 40 shots against. He had to unfortunately stop 34 of those things. Not a bad night. still can't blame Mrazek for a lot of his stuff. But like I said, our young stars did prevail. But that doesn't always mean it was a great game as a team overall. As you can see, tail of the tape on the game stats, Montreal pretty much outdid Carolina in just about everything, except one key thing, and it's a repeat from the Toronto game, but in a nice positive way. Carolina goes 6 for 6 on the penalty kill, 2 straight amazing nights shorthanded at 100%. Gotta love that. But what we can all agree with that we all don't like is the lack of winning that we saw these past 2 games. Um, Toronto, yeah, I mean, that's a tough team to face. I get it, but got to be competitive with them. Montreal, that was a winnable game. It's just the defense sucked. Let's just face it. It was just flat out horrible. I don't know what to tell you guys on that one. But the positive is the special teams on the penalty kill side is prevailing. We are seeing the stars, the young guys, really develop really well. And I'll throw a guy out there, Kukonen. He wasn't bad in his season debut, I would say, but he got himself a penalty, got him in a little bit of trouble, and he had to feel shame for about 2 minutes in a penalty box. But other than that, some stuff needs to change out here and there overall. So defensive pairings, that's definitely something to really focus on. I've noticed that Dougie Hamilton needs to really kind of show where he's at. I liked his pairing a little bit better in this one until his partner actually left due to injury in this one. I'm not sure what the status is at this time because by the time this was filmed, the game literally just ended. So couldn't really tell you what happened on that one. Let's get into let's go ahead and recap the 3 stars of the 2 games. Now, my third star of these past 2 games is a little bit of surprise. It's Peter Mrazek. Why, you say? Because the defense in front of him is horrible, and you got to get some recognition if you're keeping your team into these games with defense like that. It's not his fault he's gotten a few goals against here and there that he didn't like against. But hey, that's what you get when you have this horrible defense in front of him, and let's hope Brendan Moore fixes this really, really soon. Now, even though I'm saying a lot of bad things about this defense, my number 2 star happens to be Jacob Slavin. Why? He got some points over the past 2 games. Why not? And he's literally the only consistent defensive player this team has seen over the past 2 games. I don't understand it. You got such a high defensive core, but this is the only guy that's actually playing true defense while producing on the ice at the same time. However, our number 1 star happens to be just from this one game alone against Montreal, and that's good old Andrei Svechnikov. Yes, this rising star who was drafted number 2 overall didn't seem so comfortable at the beginning of his career, but this is the first time I can actually say he looked damn comfortable out there. And not only just damn comfortable out there, but comfortable enough where he could take the ice up to himself. And the first goal of the game against Montreal, beautiful backhand roof just above Carey Price's glove. What more can you say except I can't wait to see more of this guy. And now it's time for the glaring weakness of the 2 games. Now, I try not to pick on the players or certain fans or pretty much ownership or anything like that because it's just not right. Now, usually the last glaring weakness I picked was the nipple guy from the Detroit Red Wings. For more on that, check out my Facebook Live videos on the Facebook pages or the Carolina Hurricanes group page. Because after saying all that, my glaring weakness, you're going to love this. What you're seeing is actually correct. The glaring weakness is Carolina's white jerseys. Why? Because not only are they the most bland white jersey you could possibly imagine the past few years, but even owner Tom Dundon despises these things. Now, yes, I will admit, I do have one hanging on my wall here in the Hurricanes room in the Florida Caniac's house. However, it's signed by players and unfortunately head coach Bill Peters. But it's in my room, it's got my name on it, and there's autographs on it. That's the only reason why it's hung up. Am I going to wear it ever again? Oh, no. But the white jersey didn't even make going to California. Heck, I don't even remember the last time I saw the white jersey being worn. let's just hope down the road that Tom Dundon, which it most likely will happen, we will be seeing a new white jersey going into next season. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and watching the debut of the Florida Caniac on YouTube. Please let me know what you think. What changes do I need to make? What comments do you guys have? Suggestions? I'm open to all of it. I make this thing for you guys to enjoy and to get an actual perspective from a former player and a fan just like you guys. If you don't already know, I am on Facebook at Florida Caniac. On Twitter, that is, I'm sorry. Facebook.com/the Florida Caniac. You can also find me in many of the Florida Caniac Facebook pages, group pages, that is. Definitely let me know your comments and suggestions. Again, like I said, I really appreciate all the support I've gotten out there. If I don't see you guys over there in Raleigh, hopefully I'll see you guys on this channel. And as always and forever, look forward to another episode of the Florida Caniac Perspective coming soon. And as always, guys, go Canes.